History tells us about kings, empires, great wars, and famous inventions. But what if the biggest story of all happened before anyone could write it down? Long before the first city was built, before the first kingdom rose, and even before people knew how to write their names, a much greater story was already changing the future of our world. It is the story of how a small group of fragile creatures survived impossible dangers and became the ancestors of every person alive today. It is a story hidden beneath ancient rocks, forgotten bones, and clues buried deep beneath the earth. And once you hear it, you may never look at human history the same way again. Our journey begins long before the first page of history was ever written. We will travel back millions of years to discover where humans really came from, how our earliest ancestors stayed alive in a world filled with deadly predators, and why only one human species remains while all the others disappeared. Along the way, we will uncover the discoveries that changed our future forever. From the first simple tools to the power of fire, from the birth of language to the rise of farming and the first great civilizations. Every step brought our ancestors closer to the modern world, even though they could never imagine it. This is the incredible story of survival, courage, and change that shaped every human life today. Before history began, there was another story waiting to be told, and it all starts long before the first human ever walked the earth. To understand where humans came from, we must travel to a time when humans did not exist at all. In fact, the earth was so different that you would hardly recognize it. There were no cities, no forests cut by roads, and no people leaving footprints behind. Instead, giant animals ruled the land for millions of years. These were the dinosaurs. Some were as small as chickens, while others were longer than a bus and heavier than many elephants. They lived in forests, crossed wide rivers, and hunted across great open lands. For more than 160 million years, they were the most powerful animals on Earth. It seemed as if nothing could ever replace them, but everything changed in a single moment. Around 66 million years ago, a huge space rock crashed into Earth. The impact released more energy than billions of bombs. Dust and smoke filled the sky, blocking sunlight for months or even years. Plants began to die. The animals that depended on those plants soon followed. Then the hunters lost their food as well. One by one, most of the dinosaurs disappeared forever. The world that came after was quiet, but it did not stay empty for long. Small mammals had survived the disaster. Before, they had lived in the shadows of the dinosaurs. Now, they had a chance to grow and spread. Over millions of years, they became larger, smarter, and more varied. Some learned to swim, others returned to the sea. Many climbed trees, while others raced across open grasslands. The earth itself was changing too. Mountains slowly rose from the ground. Oceans shifted. Forests spread across huge areas, then pulled back as the climate changed again. Some places became colder, others became drier. Every change forced animals to adapt or disappear. Among the many new mammals was a small group that spent much of its time in the trees. These early primates had hands that could grip branches, eyes that faced forward, and sharp minds that helped them find food and avoid danger. They were quick, curious, and better at solving problems than many other animals. No one living then could have known it. But these small tree climbers carried the first signs of a future that would change the planet forever. But these weren't humans, not yet. Millions of years passed, and the world continued to change. Forests slowly gave way to wide grasslands in many parts of Africa. Animals that once lived high in the trees now had to spend more time on the ground. It was a dangerous place, filled with hungry cats, giant birds, and powerful hunters. But it was here, on this changing land, that the story of humanity truly began. Almost every piece of evidence points to the same place. Africa was the birthplace of our earliest human ancestors. Deep beneath its soil, scientists have found ancient bones, footprints, and simple tools that help tell the first chapter of our story. These discoveries show that the road to becoming human was long and filled with challenges. One of our earliest known ancestors was a group called Australopithecus. They lived more than 3 million years ago. They were not fully human, but they were not like modern apes either. They walked on 2 legs much of the time, which allowed them to see over tall grass and carry food or young across long distances. Their arms were still strong enough for climbing trees, where they could sleep more safely at night. Their brains were much smaller than ours, but they had already taken an important step that would shape the future. Life was never easy. Every day was a fight to survive. Lions, saber-toothed cats, giant crocodiles, and other predators were always nearby. These early ancestors were not the strongest or the fastest animals on the land. They could not outrun danger or overpower it. Instead, they depended on staying together, watching for threats, and making smart choices. Working as a group gave them a better chance to stay alive. Over many thousands of years, another early human appeared. This new species is known as Homo habilis, which means handyman. The name was given because these early humans began making simple stone tools. They picked hard rocks and struck them together to create sharp edges. These tools helped them cut meat, break open bones to reach rich marrow, and prepare plants that were once too hard to eat. The first stone tools may seem simple today, but they marked a huge change. For the first time, humans were not only using what nature gave them, they were shaping the world around them to meet their needs. A sharp stone could do what weak hands could not. It opened new food sources, helped protect families, and gave these early humans a better chance of surviving another day. Even with these new tools, life remained filled with danger. Many nights ended with the sounds of predators moving through the darkness. Food was never guaranteed, and every season brought new challenges. Yet generation after generation, these early humans adapted. They learned from experience, shared knowledge with one another, and slowly became better at surviving in a harsh and unforgiving world. They had taken their first great step toward becoming human. Then one discovery changed everything. As thousands of years turned into millions, another human species appeared that would change the course of history. They were called Homo erectus, and they looked more like modern humans than any of the ancestors who came before them. They stood taller, walked with confidence, and had longer legs that helped them travel great distances. Their brains were also much larger, allowing them to solve problems in new ways. But their greatest achievement was not their body or their size. It was their ability to control one of nature's most powerful forces, fire. At first, fire came from nature. Lightning struck dry trees, and volcanoes sent flames across the land. Every animal feared it. Most ran away as fast as they could. But at some point, Homo erectus did something no other animal had done. Instead of only fearing fire, they learned how to keep it alive and use it to their advantage. That single change transformed human life forever. Fire gave warmth during cold nights when temperatures dropped. It pushed dangerous animals away from camps, making sleep a little safer. It also brought light into the darkness, allowing families to stay awake after sunset. Around the fire, people could watch, learn, and spend more time together. It became the center of daily life. Fire also changed the way humans ate. Before this, most food was eaten raw. Raw meat was hard to chew and harder to digest. Many plants were tough or even unsafe to eat. Cooking made food softer, safer, and easier for the body to use. People could gain more energy from every meal while spending less time chewing. That extra energy helped support the growth of larger brains over many generations, With stronger bodies and sharper minds, Homo erectus became better hunters and better survivors. They learned to work together, plan ahead, and explore places their ancestors had never seen. They crossed rivers, climbed mountains, and entered lands with colder weather. Slowly, they became the first human species to leave Africa. Their journey spread across parts of Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. Every new land brought different weather, strange animals, and fresh dangers. Yet Homo erectus adapted again and again. They made better tools, found new food, and built lives far from the place where humanity had first begun. For more than 1,000,000 years, they remained one of the most successful human species ever to live. Their long survival shows just how powerful fire had become. It was more than a source of heat. It was the tool that helped shape the human body, human thinking, and the future of our species. But as humans spread across the world, something surprising happened. They discovered they were not the only humans walking the earth. But humans weren't alone. Today, it is easy to believe that humans have always been alone. We look around and see only one human species living on Earth. But for a long time, that was not true. Thousands of years ago, our world was shared by several different kinds of humans. They lived in different lands, hunted different animals, and found their own ways to survive. It was a time when many human worlds existed at once. One of the best known was the Neanderthals. They lived across Europe and parts of Western Asia for hundreds of thousands of years. They were shorter and stronger than modern humans, with wide chests and powerful arms. Their bodies were built for the cold, helping them survive long winters during the Ice Age. They were skilled hunters who worked together to bring down large animals like bison, wild horses, and mammoths. Neanderthals were also far more intelligent than people once believed. They made strong stone tools, controlled fire, and built simple shelters. They cared for family members who were old or injured, showing kindness and teamwork. Some even buried their dead, suggesting they had deep feelings and perhaps early beliefs about life and death. Far to the east lived another mysterious group called the Denisovans. Scientists know much less about them because only a few bones and teeth have been found. Yet those small discoveries revealed an amazing story. Their DNA showed that Denisovans were different from both Neanderthals and modern humans. They lived across parts of Asia and even passed some of their genes to people living today, especially in parts of Asia and the Pacific. On a small island in what is now Indonesia lived another surprising human relative. They are known as Homo floresiensis. Standing only about 1 meter tall, they were so small that scientists gave them the nickname, the Hobbit. Even with their small bodies and brains, they made stone tools and survived on an island filled with strange animals. Their story reminds us that human evolution did not follow just one path. These were not the only human relatives. Many other human species appeared and disappeared over millions of years. Some lived for hundreds of thousands of years before vanishing forever. Each one found a different way to survive in the changing world. Sometimes these human groups lived far apart. At other times they met. They may have traded knowledge, competed for food, or shared the same hunting grounds. In some places, they even had children together. For thousands of years, the Earth was home to more than one kind of human. Then, slowly, one by one, the others disappeared. The Neanderthals vanished. The Denisovans faded from history. Homo floresiensis was gone. Every other human species was lost, leaving only one behind. That one species was us, Homo sapiens. But one question has puzzled scientists for generations. Why did only Homo sapiens survive? The answer may have begun during one of the hardest times in human history. Long before cities, farms, or written records, the Earth entered a period of bitter cold that tested every living thing. Huge sheets of ice spread across large parts of the northern hemisphere. Winters became longer, summers grew shorter, and the world became a far more dangerous place. This was the Ice Age, and for early humans, it was a fight for survival every single day. The changing climate transformed the land. Forests disappeared in many places, replaced by cold grasslands and frozen ground. Rivers changed their paths, lakes dried up, and food became harder to find. Many animals moved to warmer places, while others died out completely. Humans had no choice but to adapt or face the same fate. Finding enough food became a daily struggle. Hunting was never certain, and one failed hunt could mean days without eating. Families searched for roots, berries, nuts, and anything else they could safely gather. Every meal mattered. Every mistake carried a heavy price. As the climate continued to change, people began moving into new lands. Some followed great herds of animals across open plains. Others searched for rivers, forests, or coastlines where food was easier to find. These long journeys were filled with danger. They crossed icy mountains, freezing rivers, and dry lands where water was scarce. Many never reached their destination. The harsh conditions also reduced the number of humans living on Earth. Scientists believe there were times when our ancestors came frighteningly close to disappearing forever. Instead of millions of people, there may have been only a few thousand, or perhaps even fewer, spread across the entire planet. This is known as a population bottleneck. It means that only a small number of humans survived and became the ancestors of everyone alive today. Imagine how fragile humanity was then. A single disease, a long drought, or one especially cold winter could have ended our story forever. There were no hospitals, no stored food, and no safe shelters built from stone or steel. Survival depended on courage, skill, and working together. Families shared food, protected one another, and passed on knowledge that helped the next generation stay alive. Those who learned to adapt had the best chance of surviving. They made warmer clothing from animal skins, improved their tools, built stronger shelters, and became better at planning for difficult seasons. They watched the land carefully and learned when to move, where to hunt, and how to survive in a world that never stopped changing. The Ice Age pushed humanity to its limits, but it also made us stronger. Every challenge forced our ancestors to become more creative, more united, and better prepared for whatever came next. Against all odds, we survived. Surviving the Ice Age was a great achievement, but something even more important was about to happen. It did not change the shape of the human body. Instead, it changed the human mind. At some point, our ancestors began thinking in a completely new way. This moment is often called the cognitive revolution, and it helped turn Homo sapiens into the most successful species on Earth. One of the biggest changes was language. Humans had always made sounds and simple calls, just as many animals do today. But now, those sounds became something much more powerful. People could share detailed ideas, explain plans, warn others about danger, and teach skills to the next generation. They no longer had to learn only through watching. They could learn through words. Language made teamwork stronger than ever before. A hunting group could plan where to go before the hunt even began. Families could remember important places, describe dangerous animals, and pass down lessons from one generation to the next. Knowledge no longer disappeared when one person died. It could live on through others. Then another amazing change appeared. Humans began creating art. Deep inside caves, far from sunlight, our ancestors painted pictures of animals, hunting scenes, and strange symbols on stone walls. Some carved small figures from bone or ivory. Others made beads, necklaces, and simple decorations. These objects were not needed for survival, yet people spent time making them. This tells us they were thinking about beauty, meaning, and ideas that could not be touched or held. Humans also began using symbols. A mark could stand for an animal, a drawing could tell a story, a necklace could show that someone belonged to a certain group. For the first time, people were giving meaning to things beyond what they could see with their eyes. Many scientists believe this was also when the first religious beliefs began to appear. People may have wondered where they came from, why storms happened, or what came after death. They buried loved ones with care and sometimes placed special objects beside them. While we cannot know exactly what they believed, these actions suggest they were thinking about questions much larger than daily survival. Storytelling became another powerful tool. Around campfires, people shared stories about brave hunters, dangerous places, and the lessons of the past. Some stories explained the world, others inspired courage or taught children how to survive. These stories helped groups stay united and pass important knowledge across many generations. This ability to imagine things that did not physically exist changed everything. Humans could believe in shared goals, trusted leaders, family ties, and common traditions. Large groups of strangers could work together because they believed in the same stories and ideas. No other animal could cooperate on such a scale. In the end, our greatest weapon was not our strength or our speed. It was our imagination. For most of human history, people lived as hunters and gatherers. They followed animals across the land, searched for wild plants, and moved whenever food became scarce. This way of life had lasted for thousands of generations. Then, around 12,000 years ago, something happened that changed the future forever. In different parts of the world, people began to notice that seeds left in the ground could grow into new plants. They also learned that some wild animals could be raised instead of hunted. What began as small discoveries slowly became farming, and it changed almost every part of human life. For the first time, families no longer had to keep moving from place to place. They could stay near their fields, care for their crops, and watch over their animals. Small homes became permanent settlements. Over time, these settlements grew into villages filled with families working side by side. Life became more stable, but it also became more complex. Farmers could grow more food than they needed right away. Extra grain could be stored for the future or traded with other groups. Soon, people were exchanging food for tools, clothing, pottery, and other useful goods. Trade connected villages that had once lived as strangers. As villages grew larger, new jobs appeared. Not everyone needed to farm anymore. Some people became skilled builders. Others made tools, pottery, or jewelry. Some focused on trade, while others became leaders who helped organize work and settle problems. Human society was becoming more organized than ever before. With extra food also came wealth. Families with larger fields or bigger herds often had more than others. Some became powerful because they owned more land or controlled important supplies. Over time, differences between rich and poor began to grow. But this new way of life also brought new problems. Villages needed more land for farming, and nearby groups sometimes wanted the same land. Arguments turned into fights. Fights became wars. People built walls to protect their homes and stored food. Leaders became more important during times of danger, and rules became necessary to keep growing communities together. As the centuries passed, villages continued to expand. Some became busy towns, filled with thousands of people. They built roads, created markets, and formed stronger governments. The first civilizations were beginning to rise. The agricultural revolution changed more than the way people found food. It changed the relationship between humans and the earth itself. Instead of simply living within nature, people began changing rivers, clearing forests, planting fields, and shaping the land to meet their needs. For countless generations, our ancestors had struggled just to survive another day. Now, they were doing something completely new. They were shaping the future of the world itself. As villages became larger and life grew more complex, people needed better ways to keep track of their world. They had to record trade, count food, mark land, and remember important events. At first, they used simple marks and symbols. Over time, these symbols became writing. For the first time in human history, people could record their thoughts instead of relying only on memory and spoken stories. This was the moment that prehistory slowly gave way to history. One of the first great civilizations appeared in Mesopotamia, the rich land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Here, people built large cities, raised huge temples, and created some of the world's earliest systems of writing. They made laws, collected taxes, and organized workers to build canals that brought water to their fields. Human society had reached a new level of planning and cooperation. Not far away, another great civilization grew along the Nile River in Egypt. The yearly floods made the land rich for farming, allowing cities to grow and kingdoms to become strong. Great rulers governed the land, skilled workers built massive monuments, and scribes carefully recorded the story of their people. History was no longer passed down only through words. It was written for future generations to read. As more civilizations appeared across the world, governments became stronger. Leaders created laws to keep order. Armies defended cities. Merchants carried goods across long trade routes. New ideas spread from one culture to another, helping knowledge grow faster than ever before. Yet even as history began, the older story was never truly lost. Today, archaeologists continue to uncover the hidden world of prehistory. Every ancient bone, stone tool, footprint, and cave painting adds another piece to the puzzle of our past. New discoveries often change what we thought we knew, reminding us that humanity's story is still being written. Beneath deserts, forests, caves, and oceans, countless secrets still wait to be found. When we look at the modern world, it is easy to focus on technology, skyscrapers, and space travel. But every step forward rests on the lives of people who came long before us. The courage to explore, the ability to work together, the power of language, and the desire to create are all gifts passed down through thousands of generations. The choices made by our prehistoric ancestors still shape the way we live today. From a handful of vulnerable primates walking across the African savanna to a species capable of building civilizations, exploring space, and uncovering its own origins, humanity's story is one of extraordinary survival. Long before history was written, countless generations faced predators, climate disasters, migration, and extinction. They endured long enough for us to ask the very question that began this journey: what happened before history? And in searching for that answer, we discover that the greatest story ever told is, in fact, our own.